Hi, welcome back to Crimson Glass on YouTube, and it's time to talk about 2020 for the last time, and we'll start talking about better things. For example, it's now 2021. Yay! Last year, I did a video where I talked about how 2019 had gone and what I was hoping for 2020. I don't think that video is available anymore because I did the soft relaunch in February, and for reasons that escaped my notice, I think I took that video down. It's not a big deal. I just wish I had been able to rewatch it. Basically what this video is going to be, we're going to review 2020 and then we are going to think about 2021. And I'm going to do it in my usual 3 parts. So first, we'll talk about just the general writing situation in 2020 and then what I'm hoping to take into 2021. And then we'll get into site and channel, what are my hopes, what happened in 2020, just a recap and a review, and what I'm planning to do in 2021. And then we'll get into individual stories, just recapping and reviewing, and then setting some goals. General writing in 2020. I would say that this was the only thing that mostly worked for me this year. Obviously, you're a person who lives in the world, so you're aware that the world was insane all year long. And it literally was insane for all year long because we start World War III in January. That's what my students were worried about, and then Kobe, and then the primaries, and then March. And after March, it all feels like a blur. But the one thing I set a goal for myself in 2020 was to continue what I had been doing for the last couple of months. I had pretty much from June until December figured out a schedule that had worked for me for writing. I had really gotten into making it part of my schedule. I had started making these videos, and even though very few people watch them, although no, that's not true anymore, people do watch them, and I appreciate you. What I will say is it's helped my process, because what I actually do is I just turn on the camera and talk. And I actually did that a lot this year and ended up not posting 90. I'm very sorry for the music in the background. The cat is trying to walk around my desk, and I'm not sure how much of it I'm going to be able to edit out. And she's just going to wander back, and I'm just tired of stopping this video. I got into a habit of just making my writing a priority, and I was making these videos and talking about my process. And talking about my process let me talk through story problems I was having. There she goes. Story problems I was having, and getting some feedback, and just thinking through what I was doing, just dealing with. That was something that was really valuable to me in 2020 for my writing, was just to continue investigating the process. What works for me for this kind of story versus what works for me for this kind of story, and just generally doing that. And this year I took everything that I had figured out in 2019 and continued to apply it just more systematically. The discovery process, I really took the process seriously, and I set up stages of it, and I set deadlines for myself that I almost always missed, but it kept me accountable. And I think I am somebody who thrives under deadline. When I was in college, if I had a paper due, generally was, as an undergrad, I wouldn't start until the day before it was due, because I always had papers due, and you just, it's just a dominoes. It was more like a train. You're furiously laying the tracks just to get to the end of it was a whole thing. Anyway, I thrive under pressure, and it was actually not a big deal for me to set deadlines, because generally when I miss them, I had really good reasons for missing them. What I was really happy about is I never missed a release deadline. I told you guys you were going to get Broken Girl on May 6th, even though I probably should have pushed it out later. I started publishing on May 6th. I gave you guys October for Mad World. You guys got it. You're getting, I am really happy that I've been able to make those kind of promises, because I think, particularly in fan fiction, and particularly for my readers, they're used to a certain amount of crap from me, at least in that first year. The first round of me writing from 2002 to 2008, I would start stories and just never come back. And I'm sure, and I'm not the only author who did that, so let me make that clear. But I'm pretty sure that was probably annoying. That's annoying as a reader. I know that because I'm a reader, so that was very annoying to me. And it was my goal when I came back in 2014 is I wasn't going to be that person anymore. And that's one of the reasons why I have shifted to this. You literally do not read my stuff until it is edited and ready to go. So that's something else we did in 2020, and I really got into that model of writing where I am releasing a novel. I'm an author. I'm an author. No, I'm an author. I have a Patreon. So what I want to continue in 2021 is just that, thinking about my process, talking about my process, being accessible and accountable to my readers, because you guys, you read, and this is why I'm here. So why wouldn't I be accountable to you guys? Also, remembering to just be kind to myself when I'm writing. When I was writing Fool Me Twice, there were days where I just took off, and I'm glad I took off, and I tried really hard not to make myself feel guilty about it. I built in 2 weeks of this vacation where I literally have not written since December 16th. That's what I'm taking with me into 2021, is to continue to be kind to myself and remember that at the end of the day, I'm in charge of the story, I'm in charge of my schedule, and my readers are not going to care if I miss something by 2 or 3 weeks. And I would say that knowing that my readers would be that supportive, it actually makes me want to just keep the original promise. It actually makes it easier for me to keep the original promise, knowing that if I actually needed the time and couldn't make it happen, like literally the entire world would understand it, you know? So I think that's been really great. So that's basically my general writing 2020, 2021. I talk about my real life year all the time, and I would say that 2020 was also a really professionally good year for me. I, despite the pandemic, was able to keep a full-time job until the end of June. I worked as a long-term sub, moving around subjects, and I ended up not getting hired at that district, but that was okay because in October I started my new job and I am teaching full-time. I have health benefits, I have a contract, I make adult money. This is a 1-year position, but I have hopes that I can be invited back next year, that the job will be there next year. It's not me. It's mostly just like, are we bringing back this program and am I the right teacher to teach it? So that's basically what I'm thinking. So I'm doing a good job, so we'll just see how it goes. So professionally, this was a good year for me too. Mental health-wise, not a great year. Really the only thing that kept me completely together was the writing. It was something it gave me structure to my day. It helped me focus. It gave me something to do all day long when I was stuck in here. Remote teaching was terrible, so having writing to look forward to was great. If we have a hierarchy of the shit you guys care about, it's writing, site, and like at 500, it's the channel. The channel's more for me. I totally know that. But like those of you guys who watch it, I appreciate you guys. You're the reason I find a lot of value in it personally. I find a lot of fun in it. I enjoy the editing, especially now that I'm better at it. And I know that some of you guys are actually watching, so it's fine. I think we're all winning. Channel-wise, let me get that out of the way since I think that that's probably the easiest last year. I started it in November just to I knew I wasn't going to post anything for a while. I knew that after finishing Mad World Book 2, I'd finished publishing that in, I think, late November. I knew that after my holiday stories were posted at the end of December, you guys weren't going to hear from me again until I'd finished Broken Girl. And that was definitely not going to be until, God, I think at that point I knew we weren't looking till May or June. Like I knew it was going to be almost 6 months. And I wanted to make sure that I was accessible to you guys, that I didn't disappear. Because I think you guys are more willing to wait if I don't disappear. Because then you'll forget about me. And like, I don't want you to forget about me. Like I got lucky you guys didn't forget about me the last time I did it. But like, I just really didn't want it. I started with the channel in December where I just started like uploading, like talking about my old stories. And those were fun. But I also found myself like being really like bitter about my old stories. Really disparaging about my old stories. And I think that those were not fun for you guys to watch because I think that you guys actually like my old stories. I do, but I think that as a writer, it's always, you're your own worst critic. And I spent a lot of time being very critical and not kind and not looking at everything I wrote until 2014 made me a better writer. And everything I write makes me a better writer. I'd say that even as good as the stuff I wrote in 2014 is, and it is good, like I like it, I think the stuff I put out now is even better. And I think that that was the appropriate way to think about those older stories. And what I think I'd like to do going forward in 2021 is to revisit that idea of talking about my old stuff with a more kinder, more generous, and more just like fun eye. Like talking more about the inspiration on why I wrote those stories, maybe pulling out some favorite lines, just being more celebratory of just how long I've been writing. I'm one of liaison writers we used to have an amazing community. We still have an amazing community. When I say we used to have one, I mean like we literally had the best writers in the entire fandom. Like I would hesitate to say that there were Jason and Elizabeth fans writers were better than any other General Hospital writers. And I know this because actually I read other people's. And we were better than any other soap opera, and we were better than 90% of the fanfiction out there. Jason and Elizabeth writers were stellar. And we were all part of one community a long time ago. And now we're really very fragmented. We're on our own boards. We're on like 6 different message boards, and I think it's just harder to find each other. I don't remember how I got on this. I think maybe 2021 I want to work more in community just to bring us back together, because there are some of us who have been around for a long time. And I think we should be there. And I'm not sure if that's exactly the point I was making, but like, here I am. That's the point I decided to make. It was a way for me to communicate with you guys and investigate my own process and just have fun. In 2021, I have kind of developed a schedule where I have weekly vlogs, because they take like, in a good day, 15 minutes to film and then maybe 10 minutes to edit. And then I can do that all in a weekend. So that's basically what I'm doing, especially when we get down to I'm only working on 1 or 2 projects at a time. Right now I have 3 projects going just because I'm doing discovery on 2 different projects, which I don't normally do. And I'm also kind of getting into editing for Fool Me Twice. So like I'm juggling 3 vlogs right now, which I don't think is my ideal. I think my ideal schedule for the site is going to be the monthly site and status updates, because I think that's really great for you guys who don't follow the channel and don't follow me every post, especially between releases. If I post once a month, like, here's the situation, I think you guys value it, I guess. No one said differently. No one's like emailed me and said, like, why are you wasting your time? Like, 1 vlog a week. So just whatever project had the most stuff going on that week, like, it's probably gonna be Fool Me Twice every other week, and then like, I don't know, like just a weekly vlog, and then something else. I haven't decided. I want to do more GH commentary. I'm watching it more, and I'm trying to be less edity, like, because I think when I was doing Crimson Suds, I just like was too much into editing. I think that was like not, like, I think I spent more time on that than I did on anything else, and I just don't think that was a good idea. So I definitely want to do something related to the show on the other day, and then doing something celebratory with just, in general, I've been around for 18 years, I think, and in this year, 2021, it'll be 19 years, and I definitely want to have, by the time Crimson Glass turns 20 in 2022, I would like to kind of have a celebratory playlist to kind of like point to. So I think that's one of the things I want to do, is I want to start preparing for that. Like, we'll start 2 years out from it, but it's still something to think about. I started a massive renovation in June. I got pretty far, and then I got a little sidetracked by a couple of things. So Crimson Glass moved to its own domain, which it used to have. It actually had one from 2004 to 2010, when I forgot to renew the domain, and I was just like, and I forgot to renew the domain in 2011, and I'm gonna tell you why, because my domain came up in April, and they killed off Jake in March, and I said, I am never going back to this show. I don't give a crap about, and like, that was such a mistake, and I wish I still had my old, but that's what happened, is Jake died, and I said, fuck this show. It expired April 2011, and then a year later, I started watching the show again, because ironically, the One Life to Live guys came over, and it's like, they were in charge during the period when I was watching, when Scott Clifton was on, and I actually liked it, so I thought, what the hell, right? That's right, I came back to GH because of Frank and Ron. Oh, fuck. I'm sorry, that just cracks me up. So what I did was I moved the site, and that allowed me to create subdomains for my stories. So Mad World, Bittersweet, Broken Girl, and at least one other that I can't remember off the top of my head, all have like subsites. So I'm going to continue doing that. I have a handful more stories that need that. I also started overhauling just the general layout, organizing all my stories onto one page. So alternate history would have novels, just kind of like just reorganizing how you find things. Also organizing my massive screen cap and video collection, and just like basically a general reorganization. I did not get very far before I got hired at my new job, so that kind of went on the wayside. But because I am kind of finally figuring things out, I do want to start making a list of just like tossing a couple of like maybe 25 minutes out of the day. Just because there's just some things I can do that do not have to wait. Like, some big projects and some are not. So that's what I'm going to do. So that's the site, just renovations are just going to continue, basically, in 2021. I am imagining they should be just about done by the end of the year. Fingers crossed. The only thing that might not be done is just organizing my screen caps and my videos. And like, that's like always been a dream. Like, not really the plan. Now let's talk about individual stories, and to kind of recap 2020, we have to recap 2019 to a certain extent. 2019, I would say that I don't recall if I posted anything in the first half of the year. I think, honestly, I don't think I posted anything in 2019 that you guys could read until I posted Mad World Book 2. I think that's probably how it worked out. 2018, I'd finally finished Bittersweet. It had taken me 2 years, and that had happened, and then I had published book 1 of Mad World, and I had hoped that I did not anticipate that it was going to take me that long to write Mad World Book 2. But 2019, that first half of the year was just, I was finishing my graduate stuff, and it was just like a really rough semester for lots of different reasons that have nothing to do with the actual difficulty of the work. It was just one of those years. So I guess I would say 2019, I didn't get back to writing until the summer. I started in early May, Mad World Book 2, and then I'd finished that by July 12th. And then I had set publication for August 1st, and I did that because it was Liaison 20, and I very much wanted to be part of it. Should have set it for August 24th. Whatever. That left me with 3 weeks for editing. I was still editing when I was posting. Like, that was a mess, and that was like not how I wanted it to be. And it was definitely what made me know that I needed more time for editing, because I would tell you book 2, there are things with Lucky and Kelsey I wish I had done. And like, I still kind of want to go back and add like 2 or 3 scenes somewhere for them. Like, just even now. Like, so that was definitely the book where I said I needed at least a month of editing, if not more. And so I went into Fool Me Twice, I think, the fall of 2019. I started Discovery on that in August, and then I started trying to write it September. I knew by the end of the month that I had the wrong starting point. So at that point, I could decide whether to just chuck out everything I knew about Fool Me Twice and then just start rewriting it and push everything else away. Because I was supposed to start Broken Girl for NaNoWriMo, like that was my NaNoWriMo project. But then it didn't work out that way. I think I just decided I needed to let Fool Me Twice as an idea sit, and then it sat for a very long time. It sat a year. And so November, I started writing Broken Girl. And again, I didn't have the story well figured out. The Manny kidnapping that's in book 1, it's in chapter 14, I think, in book 1. In the original draft, it was like chapter 8. Like, I just didn't have this. I didn't understand the story I was trying to tell, and it wasn't working. I won NaNoWriMo, but I ended up, you guys have never read any of that draft publicly. It's not bad, but I don't think that anything made it. I haven't looked at it in a while. Pausing for the cat to pass. Okay. So I recapped 2019 just to give you an idea of why 2020 started where it did. December I kind of took off because I started a new job, which is like the story of my life. And I started that new job November 12th, which is right around the time that I knew Broken Girl wasn't working. I actually started this channel about 3 weeks later because I wanted to talk about how much Broken Girl wasn't working. I did a lot of that with my Patreons. And in December, I just kind of let things lie because I was really stressed with work and I was really stressed with just like life in general, and writing was not helping because I hated everything I was looking at. So I got myself to winter break. And on winter break, I figured it out. And I figured out what I was doing Broken Girl. And I spent a lot of time thinking about the character of Sam, which I don't enjoy doing because I don't really like Sam, but I think not liking a character doesn't give you an excuse not to write well for them. I mean, if you really made me write Franco, I could write him. I mean, they wouldn't like what I'd write for him, but I could write him. Like, I can write anything. So I just needed to understand her better. So when we get into January, I am starting, January was finally starting the new alpha draft of Broken Girl and not missing another deadline because I was missing my February release. Like, I was supposed to have a book out in February, and it never happened. Fool Me Twice, it just never worked. And then I was also working on Discovery for Mad World Book 3, and all I'm going to say about Discovery for Mad World Book 3 is I didn't know what I was doing, and it was very clear by the fact that when it came time to start Mad World later on, which we'll talk about, how much time I ended up wasting in January is astounding. Started writing the alpha draft of Broken Girl sometime in mid-January. I don't have the dates anymore because I use a program to like track my stuff, but I am not paying the amount of money they want a month to track my writing. Like, it's just insane. Like, I should just track it manually in my bullet journal. But I can't, by January 19th, I tell you I was writing. And it limped along. Like, if the story was working, I was just, like, not clicking with it, and I was struggling at school because the kids had flu, and it was just a whole thing. But then February 8th, 9th, 10th, somewhere in that, like, range, I just started writing. I started writing 1 chapter a day. There were a day or two where I wrote 2 chapters, and by the end of February, I was, like, 10 chapters away from being done, if not probably more, slightly away. And I thought, yay, I'm actually going to finish this draft early. And then I got sick with something the first week of March. I don't know what it was. I don't think it was COVID, but you know what, the doctors weren't testing for that at that point. And I missed a couple of days of work, and then on March 11th, the NBA shut down, and I started planning remote lessons, and then remote happened, and I think that just took a minute. So I didn't quite get back to finishing Broken Girl until mid-March, and I kind of just limped in at the end there. I just made that deadline. My deadline was like March 30th, and I think I just made it on the 25th or something. Broken Girl was the first time I tried to do a revision schedule, you can tell, like, I have no idea what I'm doing with my revisions because just like how shoddy it was. And I had not yet decided to publish all at once. I knew that I wanted the book fully edited before I published. Broken Girl is the book that made me really think I should just publish, I should just write, edit, revise, do all of that stuff, get the ebook completely ready, and then just publish it like a real book. Like, just all at once. And I think Broken Girl is the one that made me do this. I just decided that I wanted to do that. I started posting that on May 6th. So the revision process for Broken Girl really just taught me that there are 2 stages to revision, which I didn't know existed. The first one is just the general cleanup of the alpha draft. Add anything you need to add, cut out everything you add, and then you get to do a third round of edits, a second round of edits, which just allows you to hone in on individual beats. I would honestly love to have room for a third edit. That's like one of my goals in my writing career, is to find a way to streamline the process enough that I have just enough time to read it one more time, with like a month between like finishing that second that third draft, and then having a time to do a fourth draft with a month between them, because I think that would give us the best. But like, I don't know how or ever that would. I don't know how that would ever happen. So after that, April 1st was Camp NaNoWriMo, and I have never tried April NaNoWriMo before. I'm not entirely sure I'll ever do one again. No, it's not that fault. It's not the NaNoWriMo's fault. It's not even my schedule's fault. I never understood what I was doing with book 3 at any point during the discovery process. Every time I thought I knew, I always had a feeling it wasn't going to work. And I had a whole idea for what something was going to happen with Elizabeth and her family, and it just never happened. And I got about 9 days in, I was just like, I'm trying to edit Broken Girl at the same time. The world is falling apart, and Mad World is being a giant bitch. So I'm just going to like, you know what? Me and Mad World, we're done. I'm out. I put it away for a couple of weeks. And I concentrated on Broken Girl. When I got back to Mad World, I kind of figured it out, and I rewrote, like, I eliminated the Elizabeth storyline, which meant she needed a different storyline. So I rewrote that storyline, and then we got into writing Mad World in May and June. And I missed that deadline by a week. It was supposed to be done July 30th, and I missed it till August 6th. Because halfway through May, I decided to add a whole new book. And I didn't know that I was adding a new book. I thought I was just adding like 8 chapters on top before what I had already written. And then ended up, when I got into revisions, I ended up turning that 8 chapters into 15 chapters, which became 25 chapters. And that became book 3. And now book 4 is what I'm working on for 2021. And then after that, on August 6th, I started the Fool Me Twice discovery process. And the Fool Me Twice discovery process, Fool Me Twice is the first book where I have figured out every stage of what I'm doing. I have figured out all like the lessons I need to learn about like the middle part of the story. Like, there are things about the alpha draft process I learned that really I think I'm going to be taking with me. Like, Fool Me Twice is, I think, the ideal process so far. Alpha draft took longer than I wanted it to, but that's because I got my job, and then I got quarantined, and then COVID happened again, and the election. It was just like a whole bunch of things. So it was a couple days I just didn't write. But I still won NaNoWriMo, so that's all great. I also just learned to be like very like okay with my ability to write and my ability not to write. Like, I felt like I learned a lot just about being patient with myself and the muse and just like going with the flow. Because I think I usually would spend more time being angry with myself for not going with the flow, and then like that would stress myself out further with the writing instead of just being like, not writing today, we'll make it up sometime. Because if I miss it by a couple of days, but I feel better about what I wrote, everybody works. I also kind of really understood that there is always going to come a moment in whatever I'm writing where I have to stop and reset. Because what happens is when you plan out every beat in every scene, which I do like to do before I start writing, you can either stick to that strictly, or you can be open to the way that things change, because as you write, you get to know your characters more. And your characters will do stuff you don't expect them to, and then you'll just like have a different vision. And you can either just like try and rein that in, or you can let your characters do what the characters want and try to like plan ahead as you go. Like, every day I was finding myself stopping and taking like 20 minutes to reset the chapter. And it got to the point where about chapter 18 where I could no longer completely just reset this chapter. Like, I had done enough shifting and changing of characters and plot lines. We actually do what I'm going to be calling my mid-draft review. So just like, when I feel like I need to change like the next 5 chapters, I need to stop, look at what's left, and make sure, like, just take that moment, like take a whole day there, instead of spending like 20 minutes, almost an hour every day resetting. Because I actually think that ends up being a lot more inefficient. So Fool Me Twice is like definitely where I figured that kind of stuff out. I have not yet started my revisions on Fool Me Twice. That's 2021. So after I finished Fool Me Twice, I took a break. I reread my stuff so I could get ready for Discovery. I worked on Discovery for Mad World Book 4 and Broken Girl, both of which went really well. Today is December 31st, and the only thing I need to do is Book 3 of Broken Girl needs to have its chapter breakdown, or Act 2. I can't remember what it is. I think I have to continue my chapter breakdown, and I'm working on soundtracking for Mad World. That's really great to be done by December 31st, because like that's exactly where I want to be. Whew. I just spent like 11 minutes recapping everything I did in 2020, also a little bit of 2019. And we didn't even talk about Flash Fiction. Let's not talk about Flash Fiction. I'm kidding. Flash Fiction, I brought it back. I did it daily in the summer, which was really fun for me because I kept my muse engaged, and it was only 20 minutes, but I think the story quality was not so great. But you guys really enjoyed it, and I loved having that daily kind of interaction with you guys when I was like slogging off through whatever Mad World was. The Flash Fiction was fun. I had always intended to write those Flash Fiction with an eye towards revising for like something of my actual standard being put out for general release, like going to fanfiction.net and going to Archive of Our Own and getting like a special spot on the site. I never ended up being able to revise, and then I just kept writing, and I started 4 series in September. I did not know I was going to get a full-time job, but I think I just went crazy, and then halfway through November, it just kind of all fell apart, and Flash Fiction's been gone for like 6 weeks. I do not have a date yet for them to return. When they do return, I am only going to be writing on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, because I have a half day on Fridays because of remote learning, and then Saturday and Sunday are the weekends. I will not be writing at all Monday through Thursday. Absolutely not. Nope. What's coming back? I can't tell you which stories are coming back. I think because I'm writing 3 days a week and I have 4 series, I think my idea is I'm going to reset and take a look what I have and then kind of figure out how much longer they have. And then whatever 2 stories are closest to the finish line, we'll do those first. And then one story will get 2 updates. I'll update one thing on Friday, one on Sunday, and then the second story will be on Saturday. And then we'll get them done. And it's my hope to be done the stories by the end of March, maybe by the end of April. And then I am not starting a new Flash Fiction series until all 7 of the stories that I have put out have been revised to my standards. So that might be the end of Flash Fiction after March, but I won't be starting any new stories. Because I did the Flash Fiction so I could put out more content faster, but also with the idea of revising, and if I'm not doing revising, like, what's the point? So I will have something ready for you guys, letting you know exactly when they're going to come back when I finish resetting. But, like, that's my general idea right now. It's when they do come back, Friday, Saturdays, and Sundays until they're done, 2 stories at a time. One updated twice, one updated once until all 4 are done. And then what we'll do there is then I will stop Flash Fiction until I have revised. And then we will talk about how Flash Fiction becomes more regular and more, like, understandable. My production schedule. I don't have firm, like, February 16th. What I have are your months. So in February, you're getting Fool Me Twice Book 1. Yay! In May and or June, possibly just late May, early June, so like either the last 2 weeks of May or the first week of June, like in that 3-week range, you're going to get For the Broken Girl Book 2. That's probably around the time the editing will be done for that. I'll know more, obviously, when I've written it. And then in September and or October, somewhere in that, like, 5-week, like, between September 1st and October 15th, you're going to get Mad World Book 4, which may or may not be the series finale. It will be the series finale. I promise you it's going to be the series finale. So those are your 3 release dates. You're going to get 3 novels this year. That is actually what I am pushing for, is to have one every 4 months. I actually want to do one every, I'm going to do one in March, one in June, and then one in the fall. Like, that's kind of where I had anticipated, and that matters, because basically whatever I write in the fall will be your February release. Whatever I write in the spring will be your summer release, and whatever I write in the summer is your fall release. So, like, it just kind of, it goes that way. You're just not getting a winter release, and winter would be like holiday stuff. That's the releases. That's the publications. Fool Me Twice, Broken Girl, and Mad World. You're getting those books this year. What am I actually writing this year? So I am writing, first drafting likewise, like projects. Broken Girl Book 2, Mad World Book 4's like final draft. I am writing the beta draft this year. So Broken Girl, Mad World, and then my third slot, the book after, for whatever I finish after Mad World, what do I go in Discovery? I have 2 options. I can go into Damage, which was supposed to go on the schedule until Mad World appeared out of nowhere, and then Fool Me Twice Book 2. I have a feeling I know which ones you guys would rather have. I think you guys would rather have Fool Me Twice come out in February of next year, because that's when that 3rd book would come. That 3rd book I'm working on this year, it would be my fall book for next year. It would come out then. I feel like you guys would rather not have a year and a half between the books. I actually think I prefer that. So I think that that's actually what's going to happen. Is like those are the 3 things I am working on this year: Broken Girl, Fool Me Twice Book 2, and Mad World Book 4. So basically, I'm spending all of 2021 working on stuff I wrote in 2020. So I guess 2020 will never be over. Oh man. I also think there is a slight chance that I'm still going to be writing Mad World behind the scenes. So as of today, I have the entire thing broken down. I'm going to work a little today on the soundtracking and just try to, like, get that done. I was thinking about trying to write Act 1 in January when I am only editing Book 2. I mean, when I am editing Book 1 of Fool Me Twice, because most of Mad World, Broken Girl's Discovery is done. And if I could get all of it's 9 chapters being out of the way, and then taking a break while I do the first draft of Broken Girl, and then maybe tossing, like, I think I'm going to try and write it in the background. So if I can do that, if I can get both of those books in and done by, say, by May 30th, I will be putting Damaged on the schedule. I'll be moving up Fool Me Twice and then putting Damaged in the schedule. So, like, there's a couple different things that happen based on just, like, life. All right. Thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you guys for reading, for coming to the site, for just generally being you. 2020, we survived it. And I definitely think that that's the number one thing. Because, it did, you know, I feel like I've aged 10 years, and I don't understand how that happens. I feel like, how is it December when it should still be March? That's what's all I want. All right. I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.